Cool. Go live. All right. Yes. Please do kind of let us know if you got a better view of us now, and we really appreciate your patience and thank you one more time, Sean, for joining us all the way from the Bahamas. We're happy to have this conversation. I know it's very early in the morning, and
Very.
it's 5:30 in the morning there, so I know that it must have taken a lot for you to get up and get ready for this conversation. So I want you to know that I'm really grateful that you take out time to have this conversation with me. So having said that, I would like us to just get on with the conversation.
Let's get
And
on with it.
so let me just start with,
What's there?
how is work life going for you? I know you work, like you said, you're a mom, a working mom. How is work and being a mom going for you?
Ah, wow. For those who don't know, I am a mother of two young ones, 4 years old and a 1 year old. And as you can imagine, it is crazy sometimes. It's challenging sometimes. I must say, it is definitely a joy being a mom and a new mom at that. I had my daughter during basically a wonderful time in my life. I had just gotten married. We were probably married for a year and a few months after my daughter would have been born, and then my son would have been born 4 years later. And so it was definitely a big adjustment for me. There were a lot of things that I had to rearrange and prioritize in my life. I've been employed for the past 7 years. From an institution, as I would have mentioned, and I get a lot of joy from what I do. It's not perfect, but every day I'm looking for new ways to learn and to grow. But now that I'm a mom, obviously my priorities would have changed because they can replace me at work, but they
Mm,
cannot be replaced in my home. If
mm.
something were to happen to me, my children would definitely be at a great disadvantage. And so I always have to remember that I am a mother first. Um, so it's a delicate balance. It's a song and dance that I try to perfect and master every single day. And I wake up and do my best. I continue to learn. Some days I am a better mother, some days I am a better worker as the opportunity would present. But in all things, I try to be my best at whatever I'm doing in the present moment. So I think being present and giving yourself grace and just trying to continue to grow is very, very important. And so it's really good to have a good support system and to communicate to them when you need that support, when you need that help, when you're feeling burnt out, when you just need to take a step back. That all becomes very important. So those are some things that I learned becoming a new mom. Because obviously at the beginning I tried to do everything perfectly and wonderfully until I started pulling my hair out. So ladies, just remember to always give yourself grace. Any parent, especially if you're parenting on your own, give yourself grace and every day just wake up trying to be better.
That's good. Do you mind if I cut you there? I have this feeling that when people speak about perfection, I often say perfection is overrated. you know I feel that it's better to have the obsession to be better every day. Just don't be obsessed with perfection, but have that desire, even I might call it an obsession, to be better every day. So if I understand you very well, you try to be a perfect mother, you try to be a perfect worker, you try to be at the beginning. But
Yes.
then you learned, no, it's not going to
Does
go.
not exist.
So how did you come through with that? How did you learn? How did you come through with that idea of, come on, I can't be a perfect mother, I can't be a perfect, I'm just gonna get better every day. How did you get that?
Every single day, because like you said, being trying to be perfect will just stress you out. And
Hmm.
I think eventually it'll cause you to be in a state of fear, because after a while you realize, okay, hey, I'm not perfect, I keep missing the mark, should I keep going on, or should I just stop? It's not working out. Perfection is a great enemy to getting things done. I
Hmm.
like to say that it's better to get something completed,
Hmm.
to give your best, than to strive for perfection, because it's an illusion. It
Hmm.
continues to run away from us. Perfection is a goalpost that continues to go further along the line as you walk down the
Hmm.
road. So I love what you said. Just continue to give your best, continue to grow. And that comes with reflection, looking at what you did and giving it honest evaluation. Did I show up in this area with my kids? Did I plan enough? Did I communicate with my spouse or my support system enough about what it was that I was trying to achieve? Did everybody else understand what it was that I was trying to achieve for the family or for the organization, so that, I could have people behind me to back me up and support me into
Hmm.
the goal that I was trying to reach? Those things are important. So you have to communicate, you have to you have to have some reflection of what you're doing, and then make adjustments. And get in, like I said, get into that rhythm, into that dance. I am very artistic, I'm a dancer. And so I definitely believe in, rhythm and flow. Let's go
Hmm.
with the flow, let's stay on course, let's keep things moving, so that we can continue to be encouraged, because nothing's worse than when the music is still going and we just stop, that Darren headlights.
I,
Just
I,
keep
I
moving.
wanna I wanna take you back a little bit on something. You said it's better to complete something than to seek perfection. It's better to complete something than to seek perfection. So a lot of people try to do things perfectly and they never complete it. So you're saying it's better to try to complete something than to wait to drive till you drive it to perfection.
I agree. Because what is the alternative? The alternative is that you'll never start. You'll never start. So just do it now with what you have, with what you know, with
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
whatever limitations you think it is you might have. Just begin.
Hmm.
And as you go along, you learn a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And someone else says, hey, do you know that maybe if you did X, Y, Z, that this might be better? You get more input, you get more feedback, because you start to
Hmm.
play out what it is that you want to achieve. And then people start to see the vision more, and maybe they'll come and help you along with that. But if you're not doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
it's harder, it's difficult. Like they say, a body in motion stays in motion. Body at
Hmm.
rest stays at rest. You have to get moving, you have to do something. And as
Hmm.
you do it, you'll realize that it becomes easier. It's hard at first, but when you
Hmm.
build up that momentum, you will keep going forward. And that's what's more important, that you continue to progress.
Hmm. So let me get you right also. It's like you said, do it now. That's one problem a lot of people have. They don't want to do it now. They
That's a problem most of us have. I know sometimes it's still a problem that I have, because like, I love to think and ruminate about things, and sometimes I have to stop myself. Okay, are we gonna do it now? Let's just do it. Because if
hmm.
you start to think too much, you might think yourself out of doing it. Get up and get started. Get up and get started. Don't allow the fear to cause you to procrastinate. Just do it. You're
Hmm.
ready. And if you're not ready, your actions will provide you evidence, and then you're able to actually look at that evidence and to do it better. And every single time you do it, it will be even better than before. Trust me, it's terrifying. It's easier said than done. We hear these things all the time, but let me tell you, mindset is so powerful. It's so
mm,
important to put yourself in the right mindset, to get your mind together, to get your values together, to get clarity on what it is that you want to do.
mm,
Because there are so many distractions in the world, there are so many things that will cause you to limit yourself and what it is that you can accomplish. But you have to have the mindset, hey, I can do this, I will do this. Here's how. Okay, now I did it. It wasn't perfect. Here's what I can do better. Keep going with that.
mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, great. Let me go to something. And what is the best tip, or what are the best tips you've learned on how to balance between work and marriage? Not raising kids now, being a good person at work and being a good wife. Is there something still called a good wife in this generation? Because it's like every time you say someone's a
Of
good,
course.
every time you
Of
say, "Oh,
course.
be a good
There
wife,"
are great wives out there, great
yeah,
people, great women, who are trying to get a lot accomplished. Women with
mm,
big dreams, and whatever that dream is, it's different for everyone. And I won't be the one to say what is right or wrong. Whatever it is that you feel like is your purpose or your goal. Once you go after it with passion and conviction, you
mhm,
definitely can achieve it. But I think the number one thing for me in terms of being able to keep my marriage healthy and happy and also showing up at work, is preparation.
mm,
It's important to stay prepared, to continue to prioritize the things that are important, and also to communicate with your superiors or your juniors, whatever your role might be at work, and also with your spouse, what it is that you want to do or you need to get done. I think communication and preparation, goes hand in hand for me. Like I said earlier, sometimes you're showing up more at work, sometimes you're showing up more in family life, and that's based on what the moment calls for. Um, so I think it's important to be true to that. Our jobs are important. They sustain us, but our families are they definitely require your priority as well. So it's good to have that balance. Sometimes the balance isn't always 50-50, but you'll
mm,
figure it out. And that's why we have to keep looking at our life, evaluating our life. We can't just live, 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 live. Sometimes we have to really stop and think, put our phones down and turn the noise off and really evaluate what's happening. If we're happy with it, then, oh, this is going so well. Like, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What can we change? How can we make this better if possible? It's important to look at things from that aspect.
can I say something? You have constantly used the word communicate, 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 communication, communication, communication.
You
So,
gotta talk, man. You gotta talk what's in your heart. You have to let people know where you are.
hmm,
You have to communicate. You have to be willing to be honest and to be transparent because I feel that is where people get in trouble. How are you today? I'm okay. It is
yeah,
well, and it's okay. I feel like we have this notion maybe that it's so negative to let people know when things aren't going well.
hmm,
Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody has time for that, like they like to say, but you just got to be honest sometimes, especially when you need help. Be
hmm,
honest with the people in your life. If you can't be honest, open, and authentic with them, like, who can you be honest with? You have to
hmm,
be willing to say, I need help in this area. I need a little grace at work. You need to be able, for example, if it's a situation at home, to, hopefully you've built up enough good, that you've put in enough work, consistent work over time to go to your boss
Mhm.
and say, hey, I need a little bit of grace at home. I'm going through this,
Mhm.
and that's why it's important, like they say, to make deposits. When you're working,
Hmm.
give your best, be to work on time, get your work done, collaborate with your coworkers, keep a good rapport, be respectful. That's important because over time we need people. We don't live in silo.
Hmm.
And you're gonna have to go to that boss one day and say, "Hey, I just need some grace right now because I have an emergency at home." And you
Hmm.
need to communicate. But if you think everything's okay, and keep saying everything's okay, and your life is basically falling apart, or you're not in a great headspace, or you're going through some mental challenges, mental health, that's a big thing too. Stress,
Hmm.
and that's
So
a big thing
before
for us
we're gonna
women.
get on more, we're gonna get into mental health and stress. Just hold that thoughts there. I want to say to people who are watching, see, there's a lot that LaShawn is so loaded. You want to listen to her over and over and over. So I'm gonna take a moment to ask you, if you're watching, if you're listening, come on, share and invite someone to join in the conversation. This is someone I know for a good number of years, and she's loaded. She's not as loud as some of us would be, but she drops it so gently and so nicely. It is This conversation is something that I know someone who's gonna benefit from it. So I want to encourage you, invite someone and share it on your WhatsApp start or your Instagram, and let someone else join in the conversation. But Sean, I want to get back to something you said. Again, communicate. You said people will not always know what's in your mind, so you got to communicate. But in terms of marriage, there is this assumption that men should be mind readers. He should know what's in my mind. But you are saying communicate. Don't expect this man to know what's in your mind. Don't expect your wife to know what's in your mind. Communicate. Are you sure that women will not come after you for saying this?
I am guilty sometimes of this too, because in a sense, you feel like, okay, I've been married now for 5.5 years. I expect this man to know me in and out, to notice, my facial expressions and every small detail about me. When it's off, I need him to be able to read my spirit, read into my soul. And I do believe that because women are naturally intuitive,
Hmm.
we feel that our spouse would also be intuitive, because I'm
Hmm.
sure there are times when we as women see our spouse in a particular state, we're able to read his mood or read what's happening. But I just want to challenge us as women to be careful. We have to really be careful and to realize that nobody can read our minds.
Hmm.
It's an unfair expectation that we really do place on our spouse, and it's because we're naturally intuitive. And so I'd like to encourage women, continue to communicate with him in a way that is effective for him, in a way that he understands. We women, seriously, sometimes I just feel like seriously, like you don't know what's wrong. but but you have to just be open, honest. If you're upset, just say, hey, I did not like XYZ. I want to talk about this. Can we talk
Hmm.
about this? Can we share about this? Let's give our men some grace, and teach them.
Come
Teach
on.
them how to open
I'm up
up.
for
Teach them
that.
how to
Let's give
communicate.
the man some grace. Let's teach
Yes.
them. Let's teach them what they don't know. Can I coach you? So I saw something yesterday, and a lady posted something, and he said about 8 years ago, I took in a boy whose mother had rejected, whose sibling had rejected him. He's been with me for 8 years. I've trained him up, but he's not changing. I took him back to his parents, and his mom said, "No, he's not my responsibility since you married him." You understand now? So, you
Oh,
know,
mother-in-law, mother-in-law.
so so you're saying, come on, ladies. Sean is saying, relax, relax. Teach the man. Don't expect men to be mind readers. Say, I don't like this. Say, this is what I want. Say, this is what I don't want. And for heaven's sake, even if you have to say it 5 times, say it. Sometimes I think they're not listening.
Yeah, sometimes you have to say it so many other times. And I think that's why it's important to have, first of all, I wanted to say that it's good to create a safe space for your husband to open up and to
Hmm.
honestly communicate with you. That's very important. You have to
Hmm.
be willing to listen. You know, sometimes I feel that women, we love to run the conversation because
Hmm.
obviously we're so intelligent and we know what we're saying, but women, it's important to hear your husband's out, to hear the man in your life out, to to give him that opportunity to express what it is that he's feeling, and for you to actually change too when he says something. So it goes both ways. We want men to do what it is that we want them to do, and so sometimes we also have to submit to what it is that maybe our husbands would like as well. You know, to have that compromise and that give and take. But I hope that in raising my son, that I will be that mother-in-law that the wife comes back and was like, "You did such a great job. He's so wonderfully amazing." Because I don't know how it is in other cultures, but definitely in Caribbean and Bahamian culture, I feel like our men are a little bit coddled. They
Hmm.
are raised as princes. They don't always have to participate in family chores or help in
Hmm.
cooking meals or do anything to keep their lives together, like wash their clothes, keep their surroundings clean. It's just expected that, oh, mommy will get it done. And then
Hmm.
mommy turns into wifey.
Hmm.
And so, expectations in marriage, that's so important before
Can
you
I
get married.
can I cut you short and come in with something there? Now you are saying that men who are raised as princesses and princes rather and kings in their house often transfer that same expectation to their wives. So they have mothers who wake up and do everything for them, and then they transfer that into marriage and expect the wives to do that also. So,
Unfortunately, I don't want to generalize it because there are some really good men out there who don't follow societal expectations and who do more. I can say for, as a praise to my husband, that he really does try his best with our children. He's very active with them. He participates with basically most of their daily activities and preparations. And so I'm really grateful for that. I can't generalize all men, but I do believe it is a cultural thing and it makes it very stressful, very difficult for women. And I just would like to encourage men, to continue to, or rather to be hands on, to be active in the life that it is that you're building with your partner, with your spouse, and
mhm,
to really show her that grace and to support her, because you know what? That translates into more love for you, more affection for
mhm,
you, more time for you. Because as you continue to hold her up, she looks like, hey, like I'm on the wings of this man. He's really lifting me up and supporting me. And
mhm,
she would definitely do even more to try to make you happy. That's what
mhm.
women are natural givers. We love to receive, but we are definitely natural givers. We're very
Yeah, women
nurturing,
love to receive. Yeah,
but we're also very nurturing. I feel like we're balanced in that sense.
yeah,
We're
women are
nurturing,
very
but
good
we
with
love to
nurturing.
give
Yeah,
affection.
women are very
But
good with nurturing.
we deserve everything that it is that we get because we give so much. So
I
that's
agree.
important. They always
I
say
agree with you.
you give women a little bit and they make it into something beautiful. You give women a house, they make it a home. Women have that transformative spirit. And so once a man is depositing everything that it is that she needs, I feel like women cultivate that into something even greater.
Good. I want to quickly ask some. You spoke about being honest. You spoke about creating space, making a safe space for your husband to, to address, to be able to speak up. Now, let me start with speak about honesty. A lot of people feel vulnerable that once I'm being honest with this situation, once I'm being honest with how I feel, I I will be exploited. My honesty and my emotions will be exploited. Now, this comes back to safe space. Now, how can a man and a woman in whatever relationship, either they're planning to get married or just the relationship or they're already married, how do you create that safe space so that someone feels, listen, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be vulnerable, but my vulnerability will not be exploited?
Okay, that's interesting. I feel like you have to understand who it is that you're talking to, first of all, and really evaluate the relationship and decide, hopefully before marriage, if
Mm-hmm.
that is someone who is able to hold space for you.
Hmm.
Because if you feel that opening up, that your emotions are exploited or that you're basically gaslighted,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's tough. And that may be something that would require maybe therapy, talking to a third person or individual as a mediator in
Mm-hmm.
order to reconcile the situation. But I do believe that it is important for both sides to be open minded and to be respectful and to truly weigh in the feelings of your partner. If your partner is telling you that they don't like something, that something is basically tearing them down, and you're continuously not putting in any effort to make changes or to listen to them or to explain how you want to make progress with um, showing up in a different way for them, then I think that you really have to evaluate the relationship. Now, in a marriage relationship, I wouldn't say, I would say before marriage, you
Mm-hmm.
have to really evaluate, is that person for you? Now, in marriage, you're already in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'd encourage you to seek therapy, seek that voice of wisdom in your life. That's important to have someone who both partners can respect and trust, in order to gain some further wisdom and insights. But I definitely think that it's important to be open to learn and to unlearn. Some things need to be unlearned,
Hmm.
especially when the two are trying to become one. Because normally in the first year of marriage, I feel like a lot of conflict comes from you bringing in those two different cultures and putting them together in one home.
Mm-hmm.
It requires a lot of compromise. It requires a lot of communication. It requires the both of you just continually to evaluate, okay, I can do this, but I can't do that. And for you to learn each other and respect each other and to really value the other person's feelings. I can't keep doing this if my husband doesn't like it. I can't continue to act like this if my wife doesn't like it. You have to
Mm-hmm.
really weigh, almost like your boss. If he says, hey, if you keep doing this, I'm going to fire you, the same way you would shape up if you were to get that from someone for a job. It's the same way you have to weigh in your spouse's feelings and their voice in your life. It's very important. And I feel sometimes we dismiss it because we say, this is just the way I am. No, no, no.
Right. Okay.
Please make an
Okay.
effort to hear them out and to really look at yourself and see ways in which you can rectify the situation, change your behavior, whatever it is that they're requiring of you. It's not easy. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody feels that, we got it together, we're perfect. But we sometimes we have to really look at ourselves and say, hey, I want my spouse to be happy. I don't want this source of discontentment every
Hmm.
time we're together.
Hmm. Okay, I'm just gonna move on. We've had enough conversation about marriage,
I
husband
love
and wife.
love.
Yeah, yeah. I know you love love. So we all love love. We are. The world is a place of love. No matter what's happening around the world, I always tell people, no matter how crazy the world is, there is always an opportunity to let love lead. There's always an opportunity to feel the warmth of love around you. So I love love too. But however, I need to talk about something that I know for sure that you are good at. That's planning.
Hmm.
Because I remember when you were here in Turkey, I remember something about you. I still have some of our correspondences, and they were detailed plans. I never seen anyone in all of those years that I've been here who made detailed plans of the things we would do today, things we would do on Friday, things we would do on Sunday. And I know there are certain things, for example, when we plan conferences or programs, I know that 2 weeks before you already had these plans down, and it was all well done. I still have those correspondences today. So I want to ask, what is the key to becoming that person who is excellent at plannings and sticking to plans?
Becoming sticking to plans or planning? Because
Planning and sticking to plans.
it's two different things.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I do enjoy planning, and it's the bedrock of everything. It's important to plan because things happen unexpectedly, and you just want to always be proactive and to be ready so that you get the best of whatever it is that you're trying to do. But I think, in terms of planning, the key to planning for me is just having the right vision of what it is that you want to accomplish. And if it's a group, then having the right vision and the desire to execute the vision of the group. Um, I believe that once, like the Bible says, like write the vision and make it plain so that the person that sees it can run with it. You want to be able to write down your plan so that even if you're not there and something is happening, let's say it's your your mother's trip to the doctor. You want to make sure that she gets the care and the hospitality that she deserves when she gets
Hmm.
there. So it all requires planning. And I one thing I love about planning is just thinking about the experience that I would want others to enjoy. And that's why I really love planning. I'm like, oh, what do I want people to see? How do I want them to feel? That is the thought that goes behind it, and just working to execute it. It's pretty exciting because life is just so dynamic. You
Hmm.
never can tell what can happen, so it's important to be dynamic and to communicate with your team and stay on your toes. And things will happen, but sometimes things happen in a more beautiful way once you allow it.
Good. I can't say that I'm a very effective planner. I can't. You know, I can't.
Why not?
Hmm?
Why not?
No, I do plan, but I'm not as good as you are. So one of the things I have learned over time is, either in the place of management or leadership, I try to surround myself with people who are excellent with this.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm trying to be open to my own weaknesses and looking
Yes.
for people who that is their strength.
Yeah. Well, you definitely don't have to feel like you have to be good at everything. And that's the
Hmm.
power of synergy, collaborating with others.
Okay.
I feel that as a child, they tell you in school, do good and study hard and learn and you'll be successful. But, a big component of that is working well with others and being able sometimes to in leadership to be able to tell what is someone's strengths and weaknesses and
Hmm.
realizing your own, and then coming to terms with I cannot do everything and I don't need to do everything because some things
Hmm.
someone can definitely do better than me. So instead of
Hmm.
stressing myself out, over here, trying to write up this document. I'm just going to give this to somebody who is a perfectionist at words, who has that gift for gab, and I'm going to put myself over here in production or whatever it is that you think your strengths are. So, like they say, you hire your strengths, and you you sell off your weaknesses to someone else. You give that you delegate that to someone else, so that you get things accomplished more effectively. And we can do that in life too. I'm realizing that if you
Okay.
have the room in life to, for example, with fixing my daughter's hair, I used to think that that would be so amazing. I'd fix her up, she'd be so gorgeous, I'd take pictures. I'm realizing I hate this. I hate this. She cries. She doesn't feel. You know what? I am going to pay a stylist to fix my daughter's hair, and then I'll take her out and show her off. But just whatever you can do to reduce your stress and actually enjoy the moment. Because
Hmm.
sometimes we're so busy planning that we don't even get to enjoy the moment that we created.
That's one of the things I notice. And when I plan conferences or I plan events or I plan something, like you always say, yada, yada. I plan these things. And then I find that on the day of the occasion, I am exhausted.
Yeah.
I want everything to be, and I'm not in the moment.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I want people to enjoy. I want people to feel like they got something out of this conference or out of this event, but then I feel like I'm not, even with all the
Yeah.
delegations, I think sometimes we fall victims of trying to play almighty, all knowing, all got it together kind of a person. And like you said, I think sometimes it's just right and appropriate to just let things flow, let it go, and be in the moment and enjoy it.
Yeah, my greatest advice, especially for those who are getting married, because I plan my wedding, just hire the planner. You, if you have the extra money, just hire the planner. Okay. At first, I thought, no, I can do this myself. I felt like I would have definitely enjoyed things a little bit more and had more headspace if I had just
Hmm.
hired the planner. I could afford one. Now it's different when you can't afford it, but whatever it is that you can afford, whatever it is you can manage, even if you can just ask a friend, you know ask for help.
Hmm.
We think that it's a weakness, but it's
Hmm.
not. Everybody needs someone, and we have to humble ourselves and realize when, what, I can just have my mom do this, I can have my sister do this, my cousin, my auntie, my friend, whoever it is. That's why it's important, to hold space for people and to actually help people as well, to invest in people too, in terms of you being supportive of them and you showing up for them, so that when it's your turn they can show up for you. And I know it's not always the same with everyone. Some people, you know that doesn't mean everyone who you help will show up, but there
Yeah.
will be those few in your life that
Yeah.
will not let you down when you need it the most. So
Yeah.
continue to invest into people, so that in your time of need, people will hold the rope for you.
I have this thoughts that has been in my mind for a long time, and or this phrase that I constantly try to use, and it's like make emotional investment in people, make investment in people's emotions. It's not like every time you doing something for somebody, you're doing it because you have expectations. No, but
Mhm.
even with zero expectations, it is natural that if someone feels like you've done them a favor, it's easier to come back asking when you
Yeah.
need it. So I feel like it's a very important thing when you said, invest in people, make these deposits in people.
Yes.
Go out of your way to do something for somebody. When someone needs something, be there for them. If
Hmm.
you add value, it's easier to demand that value be added to you.
Yeah, that's the key word. Add value, add value. Everywhere you go, add value. And I feel like that's a big component of success, because a lot of
Hmm.
people, well, I can say for myself that I felt like success was just being the best and learning a lot and knowing everything. But I realized that Success has a lot to do with adding value. And the first thing that we're able to add value to is people, not in just saying, I make a lot of money or I have a big income or material things, but in being able to help someone and to shape someone's life in a way where they can say, you know what, this person really made a big contribution to my life and I'm so grateful for it. So
Mm-hmm.
service is really important, and service has like that good side effect, right? Because in service we feel we have that sense of fulfillment, but also in service to others we're able to add value and to make contributions to people where at whatever level it is that we are, whether we're just starting out or if we're older.
Mm-hmm.
So service is important, and I think that that is a great way to add value and to keep things in perspective in life and to keep yourself balanced as well.
I don't think people really understand how important it is to learn to add value to people, to other people. Even if it's your mom, if it's your boss at work, your husband, your wife, the moment people keep giving to you without receiving any sense of value in return, it makes them weary.
Hmm.
people
Yeah.
people begin to feel like they're being used, like they're being exploited. So, and just like any company, every company understands that their value the value of that company depends on the service they render to their community, and the value they bring to their community, you know.
Yeah, and I think too that it's important to, like you say, to keep things balanced. I think, especially as young people, that we should strive to pour more, to give more.
Hmm.
I feel that in my country anyway, in cultural context, I feel that the older generation, they don't always like to mentor. They want to hold on to whatever position of prominence that they
Hmm.
have, and they don't want to pour into the younger people. So I'd encourage older folks or people who are very knowledgeable, skillful, can pour into others. Like, use your wealth of knowledge and skill and connection to really pour into someone and to transform someone's life. You might not see it as something of great value because of familiarity,
Hmm.
but to somebody else it can be life changing. It can be a game changer for them. And also, young people, wherever you are, don't feel as if you have to make it, you have to arrive in order to provide value. I value
Hmm.
right where you are, and if there's someone in your life that you wish could mentor you, or you wish that could pour into you more, maybe try to find more ways to be of service to them. And I feel like, once they see, okay, this person's providing, this person's always here, when I need them, they're always so helpful and they assist, they're respectful. Eventually, I feel like that'll help doors to open for you. And it helps with your visibility too. So that's something at work, that's something in ministry, that's something, even in your familial relationships. Continue to serve, be helpful, go the extra mile. I wouldn't want to say to burn yourself out, but and you don't have to do it with the expectation as, okay, I want this person, but eventually it will be recognized, and someone will say, you know what, this person is such a giving person. I i'd like to talk to them about this, or I'd like to invite them to this. And so just the exposure or the invitation could be something that could really help you,
Hmm.
or be eye opening for you. So continue to give value and to be helpful.
Great. So let me just quickly put this in a short way. It was like saying, don't wait till you are richer to be a blessing financially to somebody, and don't wait till you are the happiest person to make someone happy. Don't wait till you are the most knowledgeable to add a little knowledge to somebody. Don't wait till you're the most joyful to bring joy to somebody. Just like you said, wherever whichever position you may be now, there's an opportunity to add a little value to somebody. I'm just gonna quickly switch, go to procrastination. I don't know you to be someone who procrastinates because you plan. So that might have changed now. You never know what happens with time. But how can I beat procrastination if I don't want to procrastinate?
Procrastination is just like the devil. Procrastination is tough. I must say. So I do feel like procrastination. I've struggled with procrastination. I will admit, because sometimes they're like you just want to accomplish so much, and you don't feel like you have time to do it, and you don't want to do a bang up job, and so you don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it goes back to what I said in the beginning about, getting yourself in the proper mindset. And mindset is something almost like your daily food. You have to continue to encourage yourself. You have to continue to fill yourself with it, with the things that you need in order to keep in the good, in a proper headspace. So I feel like one way to help against procrastination is to get really focused on what it is that you want to do,
Hmm.
and just to get some clarity, if you enjoy journaling, I feel like journaling can be helpful to
Hmm.
clear out those thoughts in your mind. You might be someone like me who has a million and one thoughts, a million and one ideas, and there's so many that there's not one that you can focus on. So get a paper and pen and put all of those down, and then start to prioritize them. What is it that I want to focus on right now this week? And I feel like that is the beginning of overcoming procrastination. Just getting that clarity. What do I want to take action on right now? What is the number one thing that's in front of me? If next week I came and I didn't do it, I'd be really disappointed and discouraged. And sometimes too, I think it's good to lead with something that will bring you that immediate satisfaction. So it's finding something really small. Find something small to start with. Like if I want to clean the house, but like, man, these children, they're just gonna dirty the house anyway. Start with something small. I'm gonna make my bed. And the sense of, oh, it feels so good to be in a clean bed, and I just want, it'll encourage you even further. So you can apply that principle to anything. Just start with something small and then do something else that's small, and just allow the satisfaction from that to continue to motivate you to keep going
Hmm.
forward.
I was gonna say this. See, you are the third person in this conversation that has emphasized small steps. I think people underestimate the power of small steps.
Oh, yes. Oh,
People
yes. They're so vital.
people don't want to count one. People want to count 10, and then they don't want to count 12. They don't want to count 11, 12. People want to count 10, 35. But every person that I have had a conversation with here, almost every person says celebrate your small steps, take small steps if you want to defeat procrastination, and celebrate them. I'm really grateful that you're able to re emphasize the same thing. Now, I want to quickly, someone asked a question about planning. Someone, that's Tuba from Pakistan, asked a question, and the question is, how do you manage the circumstances, that those ugly circumstances, positive or not, not always ugly, ugly or beautiful circumstances that come up in between the process of planning? You want to do something, you're planning, but in between the process of them of planning, something comes up and rears its ugly head. How do you manage that?
Okay, I think with dealing with situations that just come up out of the blue, first of all, I think you should always have a contingency plan. As a planner, it's important to be proactive,
Hmm.
because there's a law that says that anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Hmm.
And for example, if you're planning an event on the outside, it's good to have a contingency plan where, provided that there is severe weather, like we're having here on this beautiful morning, that we have somewhere else to facilitate the event. So
Mm,
I'd encourage persons to be proactive in their planning, to think about contingency plans. If something catastrophic were to happen in this area, can we move it to another area? And just to provide concessions in that way. Now, mind you, I do want to encourage people to give yourself some grace in planning. Things will go wrong. And sometimes that's just it. There's no way to actually fix it. You just have to keep going. You have to persevere. But as
mm,
much as you possibly can, do damage control to have somebody else come in and rectify the situation. Again, working with your team based on what's best. You can try and help the situation, but by all means, continue on with the program and persevere through it. Persevere through the challenges, whether they're technical difficulties, lighting difficulties, someone not showing up. Persevere, and some if you plan a panel and one of the speakers doesn't show up, you can say, hey, can we get them online? Or you can't fly someone in that day,
mhm.
so okay, let's just go with it. Let's use what we have. So understand the resources that you have and use them to the best of your ability, but mind you, don't allow the the things that will come up to discourage you. Keep the program going, and trust me, sometimes people don't even notice. It's you who would have wanted big flowers in the back, and let's say they didn't arrive on time. Okay, nobody noticed. Let's keep it moving, keep it pushing, and to continue to persevere.
Okay, great. Uh, I hope that answers the question. I want to quickly go where we're running out of time, so we got a couple of minutes to go. I want to talk about challenges of women. It seems like this is a conversation that comes up in this century every time. Challenges of women. I personally believe that in the attempt to balance the world, you cannot tilt it in one direction again. So if the world is tilted against women, if the world is not balanced in and it's against women, I do not believe that in an attempt to balance the world, we tilt it against men. So
No,
what are the challenges women face, and how can we have a balanced world for both men and women?
that is a very loaded question to which I feel that a lot of people are working on in terms of UN development goals, sustainable goals. You just hear about gender equality everywhere you go now, and it's really important, because women bring a lot to the table, and to not include them in the discussion is basically, just you're missing a whole part of the conversation that needs to be had. And I feel that one of the biggest challenges for women is not always having a seat at the table, and not always being in the position to make the decisions that will benefit women. So normally the decision maker is the one
So
that are
women need
implementing.
to be at the seat to make the decisions that will benefit women.
Yeah, and also men need to be able to also advocate, for the rights of women. And I think it's important for men to also advocate on behalf of women, because it benefits everyone when we make decisions that are in the best interest of women. And in terms of that, I can't speak too deeply, because I haven't done any particular research on it myself, but from what I do know in terms of things that I've read is that women are a big component of our economy, of our society in terms of family building. Women make up a great percentage of the workforce. And, women contribute in so many ways, and over the last century, women have contributed to all facets of society, whether it's science and male dominated industries now, especially in technology. But it still isn't enough. And so I feel that, we're not trying to say we don't. we don't want, we don't like men, or we have a problem with men being in charge. But I do feel that competent women and women leaders should be supported, and
Mhm.
women should not be disqualified because of gender, or because they have a family, decide to have a family. I attended a conference in Jamaica 2 weeks ago now, and they presented research that talked about the penalty of motherhood. And
Mm.
the research explained that women, after they have children, their likelihood of rising in their career significantly decrease as it compared relative to men.
Oh,
And so, things like this are real. I know that a lot of people say, oh, women, we sometimes we pay them the same thing, they have babies, so what do they expect? But it's a real thing, having children really hurts the career prospects of a woman. They have to work 10 times as hard in order to attain the same level of success as a male counterpart in their industry, because they would have had children. And these men have children, but men having children obviously does not even make a blip in the chart. And so, supporting women who want to work in the home, as well as supporting women who want to maintain exciting careers, or who want to have a voice in advocacy and law, science, whatever it is. I feel like we need to allow women space at the table as leaders and decision makers, to make decisions that will also help the society as a whole, women and men. And so
mm.
that's my perspective, sorry, on that.
It is, you know, it's like when you say that the tendency for women to rise in their career as high as the man drops when they have kids
Significantly, many
significantly. I
significant.
saw an alarming statistics recently. It's alarming that in the next, is it 20 or 30 years, that there will be a significant number of single women out there, not wanting to marry, not wanting to have kids out there because they want to have they want to attain the same level of career level professionally with men. And I do not know how we can balance that, because that's definitely going to affect human race in as a whole. Definitely going to affect human race.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, by all means, if their desire is to, have amazing careers, but without pursuing family life, that's a desire that some women have. Yes, I'm all for that as well. But I do believe that because women who do pursue families are disadvantaged, that might be an outcome of
Hmm.
women feeling marginalized, as they feel like, maybe I have to make a choice. Do I want to have the family, or do I want to have the career?
Wow.
Because nowadays sometimes people say you can have it all, but really that's not true. You, like Michelle Obama said, you can't have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time.
Hmm.
So, like earlier I mentioned, there's a song and dance. Sometimes I'm showing up 70-30, work and home. Sometimes it's 60-40. And we always do want to give our best in the present moment, but we're human. And so I think that those statistics definitely do lend to that outcome of women feeling like, okay, you know what? I want to make the money. I want to support myself. I want to be independent. So, I'm going to give up this family dream in order to pursue career. So I'm praying that, as time continues to go on, and that we learn more about these dynamics, that, we allow space for women to thrive in both areas if that is their desire, or to thrive in one area, but not feeling that they have to give up, something in order to attain success into another. And I believe that's why, studying gender dynamics are so important.
Okay, good. Quickly before we go, in about a minute, I want you to quickly give at least three of your success tips that anybody can employ and be successful in any area of their life.
Three success tips. Oh, success, success. Success is not something you run after. Success is something that runs after you when
Cool.
you add value. So,
Mm,
the first thing I would say is invest in yourself, invest in your health, invest in your mind. Invest in those things which are important to you. You only have one you, so make the most of what you are. That's the first thing. Once you have joy and pride in yourself, that is the greatest success. Being able to accomplish what it is that you feel that you are, your potential is, achieving your full potential and your purpose. The second thing I would say is to not negate the importance of people.
mm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, do not negate the importance of connections. To continue to build great connections with others, collaborate with others, help people to accomplish their goals, and you'll see that others are very diligent and eager to help you achieve yours. And I guess the last thing I would say is to continue to work hard and to believe in yourself. Nothing happens overnight. Give yourself grace. Continue to persevere on whatever goal or dream it is that you have. And once you believe that you can do it, even if you fall down, you know eventually I will attain my goal if I don't give up. And
great.
so those are some simple things that I hope can help somebody else because this certainly have helped me.
Great. Sean, thank you so much for waking up early in the morning. It was so much to ask of you to leave your husband and the kids and come have this conversation with me. But I'm definitely sure that someone has learned a lot. Someone has benefited from having this conversation or listening to you. I have benefited. It's always wonderful to have a conversation with you, catch up with you on several issues of life. So one more time, thank you so much for waking up to join us in this conversation.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. Thank you for everyone who listened. Thank you, Tuba, for the question that you gave. And hopefully it'll be beneficial to others who watch the replay.
Thank you so much. And for everybody, I'll see you again next week, 12:15 Istanbul time. And if you're out of Istanbul, Turkey, just check your time schedules and get it right. I'll be talking with Mr. Lamin from the Sierra Leonean Embassy next week, Saturday. It's going to be a wonderful conversation. I hope you join us for it. See you next week, and thank you so much. Goodbye.